doesn't matter, Kyle. Things are all pretty wacky over here as I smash between my keyboard shortcuts to try to get my mouse and keyboard on the correct machine here. Let's, there we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Motion Design Hotline. This is what it's like when we start our shows on off days, we'll call them. We're working some stuff out, so if you're watching over here on YouTube, thank you very much. I'm going to go turn on Behance while, Kyle, you tell us about your day and what's going on with you.
Oh, my day?
Yeah.
Well, my day's been pretty good. Just finishing some things up, and here I am with my favorite co-host, Mr.
You have other co-hosts? I don't like to hear that. I'm a jealous co-host.
I don't think so. I don't. No regular co-hosts, and I guess it's been quite a while since I co-hosted anything else. So no, just forget I said anything.
I'll try. I'll try. I don't.
All right. Well, I don't think anyone is watching us yet anyway, so
that's fine.
I'm not too upset about this. However, once we get all the plugs plugged in correctly, and we're on the pirate feed over at Behance as well.
Yeah.
What we will be doing today is a continuation of last week's show, where Evan and I, Evan created two designs of a house and a clock, both kind of simplified designs with just a few colors. And we each took a couple of approaches, transitioning from one thing into the other thing. And we explored a few different ways to do that, talked through those, and the methods and the thought processes that we were using for those. So Evan and I were talking after the show, and we decided it would be sort of a fun thing to continue on with that, but we'll actually do those transitions live. And the thing that we'll be transitioning to is yet to be seen by either of us. I made a thing
TBD.
for Evan, and he made a thing for me. We don't know what they are, so in a few minutes here, we'll be jumping into that, and then I guess we'll decide the transition from house or clock into new thing. And hopefully we didn't make it too difficult on one another, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we're going to find out. I think we're live in both the places. This thing's still complaining that my CPU is overloaded. I think it's being a little wiener. So what are you going to do about that? Yeah, that's pretty much the show for today. We're going to be doing kind of what we did last week, but slightly different. And it's going to pull
Isn't
up
I mean, isn't that a description of every show?
Sure. Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah. Same thing as last week, but a little different.
It's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit different this time.
A little different.
Yeah. It's like what we did last week, but a little different. That's every show, Kyle. If that's a problem, then it's a problem for every show that's ever existed in the history of programs, right?
I do see Theo is saying that everything is acting weird, and he's not wrong. Yep, the frame rate seems very low and choppy. And then to add to the weirdness, one of my lights has decided that it is going to blink at me. Oh, because I think its battery has died. But I have the plug, just wasn't plugged in, so that one's easy enough to solve.
Yeah, man, things are acting weird. Like we're gonna see if we can touch up some of this. See if I can make some of this good.
Yeah, we're rolling at like 2 frames per second from what I can see.
That's opposite good. Let's see here.
Yeah, suboptimal.
Sure. Yeah, we might say suboptimal, but we'll see if things will come back online. We're using a different way to get Kyle into the mix over here, and that is what's going bad, I would say.
I think it's resulting in some chunks.
Yeah, things are getting chunky. Oh, wait, you seem smooth now to me, so maybe that's something. Maybe we smoothed it out. Maybe that change did something. I don't know. People let me know. Keep us posted about how the stuff looks periodically, and I will periodically try to do something to fix it. That's the danger, is that I'm gonna try something. Oh yeah, here we go. YouTube is not receiving enough data to do smoothly, so there is a bandwidth shrub. You know what, Video Ninja? I think you're not as good as people say you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's my argument. Yeah, this is not getting enough.
I mean, we could do a quick pivot and just restart with our usual solution.
Yeah, let me get over to now. YouTube doesn't tell me what its stream health is, but that says kilobytes out is good. So that's an interesting bit of business. Tough to say.
Yeah, this is why we're doing this week and not
That's
next week
true.
on a live.
Maybe YouTube will calm down and just start being chill about things.
I mean, it's displaying on YouTube.
It is displaying. Anyway, then in which case we will soldier on because I think it's lying to me. And it'll come back around eventually. So far, I think we look clean in another place. Anyway, let's get on with the show. Let's see what falls apart. And if the little computer over there gets lit on fire, so be it. All right, Kyle. We said that we were doing morphing methods. We're going to keep morphin dem methods. Clever Devlin, hello. Good to see you. Why can't I? Yeah, okay, there we go. And if people come and join us over on YouTube, then we'll know. But yeah.
You can further demo, if you like. I have last week's examples set up to loop here on my screen.
I'm going to go Kyle's screen and see what happens.
So in case you did not join us last week, these are the examples that we worked through. And so you can see some of the various ways that we transitioned between these two objects. And I'm sure that we will both be taking advantage of some of the same strategies here, but not knowing where we're heading creates an interesting dynamic.
Creates a wacky kind of dynamic out there. Okay, perfect. All right, I just closed down some windows and maybe that'll help out. Probably won't.
Fingies crossed.
Yeah, cross your fingies for us as we venture into the unknown. So that's what we did last week. That's all well and good. But this week we do something else, which is where we're going to take those things, take it one step further. Therefore, I should probably open up what I was doing last week. So I've got at least that stuff to draw from. One file is missing.
What I did, yes.
Yeah. So Kyle, we have brought pictures for each other. Back to our two-shot. We brought pictures for each other. Maybe we just reveal them now. Hey, Hicks Design. Everyone, just let me know how our driving's going, and we'll see what's up. Worst case scenario, we have to open a Discord server or something, which I feel like would be also bad. Kyle, what have I brought for you today? We're looking at my screen now, and I have brought for you ice cream cone.
Some drippy ice cream.
I brought you specifically ice cream, so that's what we're gonna send over to Kyle. Nice. So as you can see, this is constructed out of a rounded cone, sphere or circle. Sorry, circle, rectangle, circle, rectangle, circle, circle, circle. Not much to it, right? That's simple geometry. I'm good at drawing. So, Kyle, that's what I've brought for you. While we observe your screen, I'm going to save this as something and send it to you.
Okay. I created for you this little dog friend.
Oh, you did dog. Kyle, not going to lie, I almost did dog.
So, I got this suggestion from friend of the show and guest from back in the day, Ray Cook.
Hey.
And I had also come up with a taco, and I thought it was a little too simple. And I was talking back and forth with Ray a little bit, and she suggested that I combine them into a dog with the body of a taco. And she sent back a little mock-up that I think is just so adorable that we might need to devote an entire show to just that, where we create a little walk cycle out of it. So
yeah,
Yeah.
I can't see why not. That seems like a normal thing for us to do. Kyle, you will find the file in question over on our Dropbox in the example files zone.
You know, I would think that, and yet it's not.
Oh, well, keep refreshing. I'm sure it'll happen. I'm certain it's going to get better real soon.
Why don't you? Maybe you could start, because your file is definitely not on Dropbox. Did you put it in last week's? Oh, I see it. It's just not inside anything.
No.
But now it is.
It's outside. Right. I put it outside everything.
Well, who should go first? Maybe
Wait,
the chat can decide.
wait, where'd you put the file for me? Where's that at?
Okay. Today's date, and then for Evan.
Today's date?
Yeah.
In the example files?
Yes.
What the heck is today's date?
The 30th, 7:30.
Oh, yes, 2004, this year.
Two-
More Morphin. Oh, yeah.
2024, 07:30. More Morphin for Evan.
Here's the problem, guys. I don't know how dates work.
Yeah. So I made you both the Illustrator file, and I made an AEP where this has already been converted into shape layers.
Oh wow, I did not do that for you.
Yeah, that's okay.
I was not gracious in my.
That is quite all right because
Okay.
I can take advantage of the brand new version of Overlord.
Oh.
That just came out yesterday, and so I can kind of talk through that process too if people are so inclined.
Sure, let's do that. You mentioned it. Let's start with you. We got your screen up.
How convenient.
Oh wait, are we gonna like draw lots for which of us starts from what?
Well,
I feel like your dog
probably
has natural symmetry with the clock, but that's
yeah, but I almost feel like that's too easy.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it would be pretty easy with the clock. I think you could also choose which one you want. Honestly, I think that the house might go to the ice cream cone more easily. So maybe that's the route, or do we want to make this harder?
Well, yeah, this is like our first thing of this series that we're gonna do, and let's be easy on ourselves, given all of the various technical hurdles that have been going wrong.
So you can go clock to dog, and I'll go house to ice cream.
Okay, there we go. So, so clock dog Evan, house ice cream Kyle, and we will we'll talk through our methods. We'll try to do some stuff. Obviously, that gives us about at this point probably 20 minutes each to deliver on something. So, without further ado, Kyle, take it away.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess I better open up said ice cream cone then. So here we are with the ice cream cone, and layers here. I work across multiple monitors typically. So, all right, got a bunch of stuff I don't need here, and these that I don't need. So let's see what's inside here. Get rid of this groupage. Okay, just a bunch of stuff, and these are roundy rectangles. Nope. Okay. So I will probably end up replacing those with like rounded strokes so that I can do that. This doesn't look too bad though. I think I'm just going to select all these, and one of the buttons in the new Overlord is you can create a comp the same size as your Illustrator artboard, and then I'll just push all of this right over.
Ooh.
And just like before, Overlord will, of course, shove everything over here as shape layers. And so I'm going to take a second and just kind of check. Okay, good. So let's call this scoop lower left, scoop lower right, and scoop top.
Oh
boy. A whole lot of this is just
stream update. YouTube says we're healthy, so that's good.
Oh, good. Well,
and audio update. You've drifted away from your microphone.
Well, that's also true. I'm trying to look at what I'm doing over here. Which,
crimes. Yeah. When we do things for real, we actually tend to lean into our monitors a lot more. Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed that, but like.
Oh, I very much know
when we're demoing work, we have good posture. As soon as we're doing real work, we turn into shrimps and like we curl into the machine.
Well, and the way that I work for a stream is a little bit different than the way that I would normally work for myself.
Yeah. Well, you put on fingerless gloves usually, and
I do. That's true.
And
but I don't wear them because that would look ridiculous.
You put on stunner shades and fingerless gloves.
Okay, so looking at my house here, I think this is a good one to come from. So let's rename this House Ice Cream. And so I will open that up. Let's get rid of all of this stuff from the clock. And let's see. Let me go ahead and take this back up to 100%. And let's see. Just kind of looking at what I have already here,
Mm-hmm.
my previous animation. You know what? Just to be, you know, just to be cool about it, I will not use those. Okay, and then here's my ice cream. I'm going to quickly. This might. I don't know. I may regret this, but I'm going to quickly remake my drippies, um, just so that I can. There we go. Have them in a format that's a little easier to work with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let's call that drip 1, drip 2, and drip 3. 3. Center up those anchor points, and then I can get rid of these bits. I should probably grab the color from one of those to make sure it's the correct color. And boop, boop. Don't need fills on these fellows. Just kind of simplifying a little bit. Okay, and close those up. Now I can get rid of these. The drips go behind the scoops, and let's make those a different color. Okay, prepped.
Mm-hmm.
And let's close down my other panels. I'm totally not watching the time at all, by the way.
That's fine. I'm on it. So someone's
Yeah.
on it.
Okay, so if I'm going from house to ice cream, let's see what we're dealing with here. Guess that door animated doesn't matter anymore because I killed that thing. Okay, so too much. Just kind of looking at the shapes that I'm dealing with. So I've got my trees here, and I've got this central window, and then this big pink house shape that feels like it's going to become the cone.
Okay.
And looking at this, I mean, I feel like having the windows and the trees, the window and the trees turn into the scoops probably makes the most sense. The trees already have these lines coming out the bottom, so that kind of feels like my drips.
Oh, Kyle. Yeah. Okay. People, let me know if Kyle's screen share just got way better.
Okay.
I just bumped something. Maybe it worked.
And Theo is suggesting, which I very much agree, that if I take this house shape and 180 it, that becomes the ice cream cone. So I think I'm going to start by working with that. And I believe I have everything already parented to this house base. Yep, because I was using the window as my main thing last time. Okay, everything but the window was parented to that. So let me undo that. And now the window, let's bring this, center up that anchor point, and now everything should be connected to this. Yeah, okay. So there's a little bit of setup that happened from last week's show, but if I get some position going on here, and I could probably do a little bit of a downward movement and then sort of snap that up while this spins, I think that would give me a nice way to get into these. Let's go ahead and parent these shapes to the cone. And then I should be able to kind of throw the trees and window into this as it moves. So let's maybe come up here to about frame 12, and we'll just bring this down a little bit, and then kind of bring it up as we do our rotation. And let's just see quickly how this even feels. That's going to be up way too high, but
right.
Just taking a look. And since we're working fast, I am going to open up one of my favorite tools, which is Flow, so that I don't have to dive into the graph editor quite as much. Just nest this over here. Whoa, that is gigantic. It's a really nice third-party curve editor here. So let's just give that some snap here and see what we get when we start messing with this. Now, I don't love having everything parented to that because it's going to kind of bring too much. with it. I almost feel like I'm not going to want those things parented.
Right.
I think if I disconnect everything from the house base, that's probably going to give me more what I'm after. So let's go ahead and disconnect those. And so my trees can be separated. And maybe the window and door can stay on there, and the chimney. Those can all just kind of tuck into the house as it spins.
Okay.
And then this bottom line, let me just turn those off for now. I bet I can kind of just wipe those away as well. So I think I can probably get there better doing something like this. So this goes up way too high. And I almost just trying to think here. I'm going to have to just manipulate this path, I think.
Right.
Yeah. Getting straight into it. So let's go ahead and hide some of these other layers. I'll just shy some of these little guys and just focus on this thing. Maybe I can kind of cheat these a little bit during the move, but I'm going to have to kind of mold one into the other here. Let's turn off these trees too. I'm just going to focus on this. How much of my time have I already burned through? Way too much. Yeah, more than I would like.
No, you got like 10 more minutes. Let's.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be good then, but okay. So down. Man, I almost wonder. I don't really love this spin either, and I wonder if I could just sort of like boom, boom, and just kind of bloop into the cone here.
Okay.
I'm gonna try that. Let's see what we get. If as this comes down, I kind of start pulling these, just snap that real hard too, and see if I kind of get the feel that I'm after. Maybe I go upwards with the house and then it kind of snaps down into its shape there. That might be something.
Classic. Is this something?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the process here, people. If you think that things just kind of magically come out of nowhere, you're wrong. A lot of this stuff takes some trial and error, and that's just kind of the way it works. I'm going to go ahead and use this cone shape as kind of a reference point to just sort of see where I'm going to get here.
Right.
And I think just turning the house base into that shape is probably my ticket. Let me see.
That's the ticket.
Yeah, let me see if using a rounded corners makes sense there, or if it's going to be weird. It's going to be weird. That's a shame. I didn't want to have to try to recreate that shape if I didn't need to, but looks like it's going to make me do it. Maybe because it wasn't perfectly... Yeah, because a rounded corners would be a nice way that I don't have to get that shape perfect down there.
So that is because the algorithm of rounding corners is, if you use the modifier, it's percentage based rather than radius, right? Mm-hmm. I think. You know what? Maybe I'm talking out of my butt with that, but
I'm going to agree with you. Whether it's true or not.
I do know that, like, when you round corners in After Effects, it's more extreme on the longer sides is basically it.
But I mean, that looks pretty much like my cone shape. So just a quick little path animation there. And I think if I add a little bit of exaggeration to that move, I need to, of course, keyframe my path rounding as well here. Then I could take that shape from there to there. And then if my ice cream cones, my ice cream scoops, like the window can come up and kind of help cover this up.
Okay.
I think there's something there. So we can have this house go up and maybe kind of take all this stuff and sort of blow out some of these corners a little bit, honestly. Let's just blow up this house. Just kind of take all this and exaggerate everything a little bit, get crazy with it, and maybe go ahead and do a little bit of rounding there, or a lot of rounding. I don't know. No, a little bit. So we'll kind of start here and boom, down into the ice cream shape. See, this is becoming something. Like I said, this is the process.
Yeah.
You know, it's not always clean and tidy. You have to kind of experiment your way to the thing. I think that'll work okay, especially if this window to the ice cream cone is going to be doing a lot of work, I think. I see a lot of suggestions in the chat, but I'm trying to do stuff, so I'm not.
Well, let me see here. We got. Is it me or is this only streaming at 720p? I don't know. Hopefully not.
May not be you.
Hey, it's tough to say. We do know that thanks to the way we're bringing Kyle in, is that his video is going to be degraded.
Yeah, we're trying a different method today, but TBD if it's something that is going to be worth sticking with.
Yeah, it may not be because it may wish to cook the computers over here.
Oh, this window is not even an ellipse, which is a shame.
My window wasn't an ellipse. You're kidding me.
No.
Oh man, I made
Why?
I can't believe I made a non-conforming window.
Oh no, it's there. It was there. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's do some size. Let's do some position. Really don't need that X. Okay. All right. So to go along with that, let's kind of blow up this size as well. So where do I need to end here to match up with my top scoop? I need to end. This whole thing is like just a little bit offset too, which is messing with me. There we go. So I need to end up right about there. Just a little scoocheroo here. So there's my top scoop.
Okay.
So I need to go from that to that. And so I think if that goes way up in the sky, I can do something with it here. So how about we take that original size and kind of add some anticipation by bringing it down a fair amount. And then we'll overshoot that. Oops. Overshoot that by some degree. And then it's going to need to kind of drop back on here. I mean, this is ice cream, so we really need like a nice plop, but I don't know that I'm going to have time to do all the appropriate hang time and all that, you know?
Yeah, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what an ice cream it is.
Let's see with just sort of a quickie here. I mean, that looks pretty janky. But that feels like the basis of, here we go, of what I need. Oops. That's going to need to happen way after that landing. Getting this back. So this probably needs to be kind of over here. Let's see. But that's okay. I think the house needs to go down, not up. Because then that snapping down can take all of the pieces. Boop, there we go. And that the ice cream can go way up, get tossed way up in the sky, and then really plop down. There we go. See that? There we go. I don't know how refined I'm going to be able to make this, but I can kind of find, you know, the basis of what this thing needs to be.
Right.
And that is it, because I can get those other trees happening here. So let's make that land and then kind of bounce back up, bring this over a little bit. Okay, that size change is weird. This feels like it's kind of getting to more or less what it needs to be. The timing's still wonky, but structurally, and what sort of very helpful comments are we getting now?
What do we got here? We've got, oh, well, Theo suggests moving the goalposts. I think for our stream, not for the,
Yeah.
but yeah, and actually many of the comments are about the stream quality itself in terms of bitrate rather than in terms of the actual content itself, which we know to always be stellar. So we don't really need to concern ourselves with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that makes sense because, definitely feels like it's, we were trying something today, and it feels like perhaps it's not working out to the extent we might have hoped.
The other thing that I'm trying today is cheating. So Kyle, while you've been talking, I've also been doing stuff.
Oh, wow. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow.
We're off to an ignominious start today. Why don't you go ahead? You take a bit more time on yours. We're not going to cut.
Yeah, you can work on yours. I'll refine this in the meantime.
Well, I was just thinking,
I think that's good.
I was thinking, like, you know what? Maybe if we spend the first part mostly on Kyle, we'll spend the second part mostly on me, but then you can put finishing touches while I'm doing my junk.
Well, I mean, part of this, as we talked about a lot last week, a big part of this is kind of figuring out what you're doing even. And I mean, as you just watched, like, it sometimes takes a little bit to kind of see what's even going to work.
Yeah.
And then, you really need to just find the main one or two hero bits, and everything else can just kind of get smushed in around it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's let's cut over to me real quick. You keep doing stuff, but we'll go to Evan's screen and we'll see what happens. So I've mostly been messing around with some rigging. So I made the dog's face rigged. Which,
oh, nice,
which I don't know if that's really germane to anything, but
it's fun.
Yeah, so maybe I could talk people a bit through what that is and how I plan on changing that. The different planes of what this is have been parented to, in this case, 5 nulls. The nulls have been parented to an origin, and as has something I'm calling the target, and each of those Z depth layers is just using a fraction of the position of the target. So this is a really simple, what I would call like a conical deformation of things that you're really easily to do sort of parallaxy type stuff going on with this. So the result is that as this moves, everything else kind of moves. And it works in this case because if the nose and mouth, if they never kind of drift beyond the confines of this thing, we never really get into a case where we need to see the snoot of this pooper. So that's something to know about. And if you ever want to change things, so let's say I want the head which I know to be on Z4, I want to say like, hey, actually, you know what? This I want to always be at none. So I might just say like, that this is parented to the origin, and I delete the expression. So it's locked. This is technically 0, and this is area 5 is like behind, and I want to do like, let's say divide by negative 10, and so it's going to now move in the opposite direction. So the head will remain stationary, and the ears, which we assume are kind of behind the ridge of the face, will move thusly. So if I do something like maybe negative...
Makes me wish I'd made the backside of the ear path a little cleaner.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm just going to cheat around it. So we get this type of a vibe going on. And if you decide like, well, I want the snoot of this pooper to be a bit more like nuanced as I push out to one side, well, I got great news for you, man. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to make I guess I'll make a big, what do I want? I want kind of like a big, there we go, make one of these. And it'll be kind of this shaped. for now, I'm just going to slip it into the area where that goes. Okay, so it's going to be near here. It's going to be parented to, I think Z1 is where I want that to be at. And then I just kind of massage it into place here. So if this is kind of the rough shape of the snoot of this pooper, then I keep saying that. Pupper is the word that I think I want.
Yeah, but you've been saying pooper, and so I feel like you have to stick with it now.
Yeah, sorry, folks. That's what we're doing. So then
Them's the rules.
I can maybe get the kind of roundness, the outer roundness of the polygon to be something like that. You know, because it's somewhere between circle and other. So maybe it's something like this that it kind of looks like. So now it's got like a bit of a muzzle to it, like that. And so now let's just see what we're doing as this kind of pokes out to the side. We get that kind of a shape, like, and this covers up the things that are logically beneath it. I don't particularly like how jowly I've made this creature, but that's
Oh
fine.
yeah, that's
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Instead, I'm going to grab that scale. And if I could just like go 20/20 on this, and maybe the polystar path can be converted to a Bezier path, and I'll just try to fix this up so it looks more good, might be the way to go. Something kind of like this. Maybe we just kind of pull this out a bit. I'm sorry, dog. I didn't mean to to make you a monster.
yeah, you have.
Yeah, Kyle gave me this beautiful thing, and I turned it into an abomination. Anyway, that's kind of what we do on this show. Kyle gives me something nice, and I turn it into an abomination. That's a pretty normal day for us over here on the program. So that is, come on, give me the other one. Give me the other pen tool, you monster. Whatever, that's how the face is now, because we have to move on to other things. But yeah, this is some basic rigging when it's like, oh, here's a character, kabam, now we got that going on. Oh no, and I covered up the rest of its spots by doing that. So something to think about just in the design, that I would need to make this sort of triangular for that to truly work. Shut it down.
Can you stick the dots to the front of that?
Oh yeah. I mean,
just got solid shapes there anyway.
Oh yeah, right. Because these are the holes where the whiskers come out of. I don't know why I thought it was
something. Yeah.
I was like, those are freckles, right? So actually, what I could do is just kind of, if they're stuck to the front of this, then they should never truly be able to drift kind of behind. Mm-hmm. And so what I know of them is that they are parented to one of these. So these dots are on Z2. We get into Z2. We get into the position of Z2. Give me that particular expression. And so as long as Z2's number is a little bit larger than that one, maybe I do 2.5 on this, and then I grab this and I kind of pull it over. So we have a little bit of parallax between the two, like that. Or maybe let's go even tighter. Let's go 2.1 on that. And then we can see some change between them. And if you really want to get fancy with it, you put each of the spots a little bit off, so that they're all kind of responding slightly, and that'll give the illusion that these are on a curved surface. So you can just get crazy with it. The thing you really want to be doing is the work that I'm not doing, which is animating this on. So maybe in the last 10 minutes, I figure out something with that. So we know we're coming from the clock. Let's just kind of remind ourselves of of where the clock starts. It's a little something like this. So that means I know personally I want to start with dog and work backwards. That's kind of how my brain works. Oh, hey, Umacord, how's it going? So I basically want to bring what I know to be the snoot up here, and I'm probably going to rotate into it because hands do rotate. So let me just set myself up for a little bit of success on that. So we are going to get these two mouth shapes parented to the nose. Thankfully, they both live on the same Z plane, so I don't need to mess too much with that. I have already kind of cheated with some ears and freckles popping up, or what I now know to be whisker holes. And so we are just simply going to change the position of this to begin its lifespan here, which ideally would be pretty similar to where the stuff is. And this also, it's like the dog is like starting looking up. So I think this is going to be a kind of a cool transition like this. So And the head itself will be coming from up like this.
Think pretty highly of yourself there, don't you?
Always. It's only hubris if I fail, Kyle. famous words from Evan. It's only hubris if I fail. Caesar, I believe. Kind of like that. So let's see if we can get those to kind of overlap. Now, one of the reasons why I do the things kind of in reverse and then sneak up on it is because I'm more concerned with kind of the endings of stuff than the startings of them, which is fine as a pathology, I think. And I know that I want to arrive there. So if I kind of start our life, yeah, okay, let's start neutral, and then the trail is to go down like that. Maybe that's going to be something. Let's find out. Let's find out together. Okay, yeah, all right, that's feeling okay. And let's try to accelerate those next to each other so that it's like, yeah, okay, here we go. And then we'll bring this over here, and then the puppers is going to look over here. And then we're going to sort of return to neutral puppitude in the middle. So that'll be pretty nice. In the meantime, as we kind of drift between these various points, let's just go ahead and grab this, and we'll go a little smooth, and we'll go a little curved, and this can get maybe a curve like this. I don't really know. I didn't plan this far ahead. And then this can go kind of like that. And let's see how this is going. Like that. Okay, great. And now I think that of left, right, that feels good and normal. So we'll maybe accelerate that this way, that way. Whereas these things in the middle, down and around, let's go ahead and just make this thing rove across time. So, all right, there we go. So that if it's coming together like that, we're going to feel quite a lot better. And we can manipulate this into the time space. Enter that time zone. We'll figure something out about this. But it's moving from a place of neutrality to up and over like that. So maybe this thing actually needs to be more that style. Okay, there we are. Kyle,
I need to actually look at what you're doing.
No, that's just listen to what I'm doing and infer.
Oh, that's mostly what's happening.
Yeah, you can just infer from the sounds I'm making what could be going on. Oh, Evan's animating an episode of Home Improvement is what he's doing. International listeners, Home Improvement is a kind of jingoistic American television show, if that helps. So, okay, so this is correct like this. I think as we come down, this here needs to be coming from that of a place. And let's go ahead and... I know that I want it to rotate into this sort of final area, so I'm going to put it up like this. Oh, well, everybody name what kind of animal you think that is now as you observe whatever.
It's very angry, whatever it is.
Yes, okay, I like this motion. That's working out. So let's get that to happen at the same time. Okay, maybe actually, in fact, I want it to animate to other way around like that. So it's like, yeah. Also, I'm not going to apologize for these totally messed up sounds that I'm making.
Definitely not going to apologize to Tim Allen.
Never. I will never apologize to Tim Allen because he dealt drugs as a youth. and then became a kind of scold for moralistic behavior.
Yeah.
That bodes ill for me. Which also he doesn't address. It's not like, don't do what I did, kids. It's bad. It's never do this ever. Never, ever, ever. And I've never done it, and I'm a cool dude. So there's that. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Something like that. I think that's working out. Now, in terms of how we get to this shape, the hands themselves, path, these two, path A, path B, those should probably start straight because that is where, for whence this stuff is kind of coming from. So I'll just kind of, whence for art thou pathio, and then we get this kind of going on like this. I think if I was thinking of things a little bit better, I might have instead had these really waggle. I think that's funny. So let's go ahead and move these to when it's kind of making its turnaround. Because ideally, I would probably want these shapes to just, yeah, that's fine. That's fine, but it's smooth and whatever. Like that instead of doing this, if it like waggled side to side and then arrived in this shape and kind of like separated as if philosophically it were two dogs' tails overlapping each other in temporal space, that might be something. But
which is a thing that happens.
Yeah, and I think this is a fine like zoom type of that. That's kind of working out. I will, in fact, I might make some alterations to Kyle's beautiful original design to kind of just bring.
That's okay. You have you have the license to kind of do what you need to do there.
Yeah, and I mean, you might have to do this, everyone yourselves, to the various assets that you are given. Like, I just want to make this a little bit like that, and that's literally all I'm doing. It won't impact the final deal of the thing, right? I'm literally just trying to match this line to get that a little bit smoother, and then that goes like that, so that it's not like a jarring. You don't want to see the pokey parts, is what I'm saying. Oh, Umacorn, I see that you may be on a delay. Yes, Tim Allen did do those bad things that I said. It is documented in various court reportings, so there's that.
Sorry
Okay.
if we have shattered anyone's illusions today.
Yeah, sorry.
Or
RSV.
I guess if Tim Allen is watching, not sorry.
That's what I say to that. Oh man, Kyle, do you know you can't make television anymore? All right, I'm gonna stop stepping on these landmines.
Oh yeah.
So we've got these two eyeballs here. Okay, I got these two eyeballs. I know for a fact these have to come from like the various positions around the clock. There's no way they are not. It's impossible to do anything else. So what I really want to do is find a way to get these there. And so I think what I'm going to do is actually, you know what, Kyle, are you fine if we run a bit long today? What if we just ran a bit long and did a good job today?
I'm okay with that. And I mean, I don't know where you're at. Like, I'm at a spot where I'm kind of like made a decision that I'm working through here.
Okay. Well, how about we, in the purpose of fairness, let's switch over to your screen for a bit, and you can tell people about your fantastic decision.
Sure.
This is, I think, the ideal flow that I think we would want from this show.
We're kind of checking in as we make things, and ultimately, like, watching us finesse the same keyframe 70 times is probably the less interesting
part
of it. So I kind of kept going with my house situation, and what I'm working on right now is getting those tree bits to become the other scoops. So the timing is definitely not right yet. And I'm kind of working on having this base piece pull down, and then it needs to snap back up. But I decided to kind of work with these to figure out if I can cross these scoops over, because that felt like it would be more interesting here than just having them shoot up and like plop plop. But I'm going to see if I can get them to land, and sort of all these ice cream scoops need a little bit of overshoot here as they kind of plop into place. It's not super realistic for ice cream, but I'm making it, so I get to do whatever I want. Deal with it.
Deal with it.
These definitely need a lot more hang time up here, though. And so that is the thing that I wanted to see if I could possibly dial in here. I'm not sure how satisfying I'm going to get, but because I don't want it to stop. But let me see what I can do.
Sorry, Kyle. I keep making myself laugh with this animation. It looks funny.
I haven't really looked
Okay.
at exactly what you're doing, but I'm on screen, so I got to pay attention to what I'm doing.
That's true. The viewer at home will get to enjoy how silly this is looking just momentarily before going back to your screen.
Yep.
Isn't that funny, guys? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Back to Kyle's screen.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to take these. I'm going to stretch all those out a bit more and see if that kind of gets me what I'm after. Okay. So those can't get slowed down so much. Not nearly that much either, but I think I'm kind of on the right track. If I can create a little bit of a lag here. And yeah. Yes, and we have last week was House to Clock, and so we're keeping that going here, and instead butchering one another's artwork. Going back and forth here.
Because that's how we do it on this program.
That is. Let's see if that sort of. And let's see that one. Okay, so this one's a little further. So if I do sort of a 1, 2, 3, boop, boop, boop. Boy, that that little bounce is not working out at all. I think I overdid it a little bit. I have my I have my window quite my viewer window quite small so that I can actually see what I'm doing in the timeline. Yeah, with this single monitor, and it's having some rather humorous side effects.
Humorous side effects. What
oh,
everyone.
Man. Oh boy. So by default, I'll just describe for you, Evan, since you're looking. Yeah, these cones are doing some very very wobbly, totally unnecessary overshoots that are just taking them to very weird places. And it's just, I'm finding it very humorous, I must say. They're snapping way too much, but man, I'm not quite sure if this crossover is going to work the way I want.
Oh.
May need to just focus on one of these here. And this thing needs to get trimmed off right there, I think. Yep, okay. I feel like I just generally need more hang time, and probably what I need to do is size this whole thing down a little bit, because I ran into this a little bit last week where I was sort of running into not having enough vertical space to really do what I needed to do. Okay. So I am creating a null here so that I can trim everything down, but I want to make sure I catch all my pieces and don't leave stuff behind. There we go. So if I bring that down to 80, there we go. I'll have a lot more space in this master mover or master mover. That's what it's called now.
That's how it works.
Yeah, that's just is what it is. And now I have a lot more space to bring. There we go. Bring this much higher. Hey, looks like we're on Adobe Live.
Uh-oh.
Our plan to spend the first 15 minutes messing around with technical things worked out wonderfully.
Oh man, we're so clever. Oh boy.
Okay. So if you're just joining us, we are working on transitioning between a couple of icons that we gave to each other right at the beginning of the show.
Right.
So I'm working on converting from a house to, well, sort of an ice cream cone here. I've messed up some bits during my animation.
Okay.
And then Evan is working on a clock to a dog. I don't know. Have we been on me long enough? I don't feel like I've accomplished anything since we came over to me. Uh,
That's true. When the spotlight's on you, it's harder to do it. Okay.
it is.
Okay, let's see where Evan's at with this stuff. Okay, I need to line up some keyframes here. I have a kind of haphazard way of doing this stuff sometimes. I kind of start at the end, kind of like that. So this is my dog face clock face situation. Oh, dog face clock face. I get it. So
Do you?
that's working out. So never mind these various bits from this. This is nothing. In fact, what I'm going to do. No, I need to keep these. Evan, don't destroy the things you need. But you can kind of see how this is clock-like. And then it's going to make a little change, bloing, blur, shaboo, into a puppy. And so that's what I'm doing. So I'm kind of working my way there. And then, to bring the verisimilitude home, if I've already spent the time rigging up the puppy, then we got to get the puppy to look around. So that's kind of important.
Of course. Yep.
It would be so strange if I didn't do that. People would be like, is Evan losing it? That's what they would say. They would.
Yeah.
They
That
would say
sounds. I believe it.
that's a thing someone would say.
Mhm.
Is Evan losing it? Said no one. Surely no one has ever uttered those words. Keeping in mind, I've got an improv show tonight, so I'm sure people will be saying that a lot of what's going on with me. So, yeah, I basically start at the end, work my way backwards in little chunks, and then I'm like, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, like that. And so I'm in one of those phases here where I've gone back to enough that I've got these happening. So that's kind of working out for me. So I basically need to either make these like that, or go the other way. So that's I need to marry up this kind of deal right here, that these either got to come in or that's got to go out. And so I think it's a bit of both. I think it's inwards and outwards, that this is popping out. Therefore, I'm going to do that. They're all parented to this. So we're going to go scale, and it's going to go click out. So let's try to scale them out, or scale them out. And then, let's make sure that we have our home base before we go too far. And so we are going to kind of scale them out a bit. And then we're going to scale them in too far in. So just make sure that radii is in there. And then we'll try to rejoin what's going on out here. So let's just in. Is that too far in? Yeah, it's probably too far in. No, wait, that was the out.
I am having some super fun boomerang keyframes going on over here, trying to dial those in. There we go. I was getting these really weird, just like huge jumps.
Well, hey, that's what we're here for, right? Okay, so there we go.
Yep.
I think that'll work. Okay, good. I'm going to just go ahead and make these a little bit more extreme, like that. Like that. Okay. And then I'll try to line this up with when this is happening. So it's pushing out. It would be helpful if I just looked at the keyframes, but I won't, because I'm
don't do that.
being a weirdo.
Do it blind.
There we go. Well, I mean, it's a little bit soupy, but this is also where we're going to use a lot of wacky words like soupy and stuff to describe kind of how the stuff is kind of working. But I really want to make sure that these have settled by the time these are away. So that's kind of the deal that I want to make happen, like there, and then they're kind of away. Perfect. Okay, that'll do. Then we'll figure out the rest of it. But for now, they gotta go, because then it's just those two going. So let's go ahead and see that again. They're going to replace around here. Therefore, the eyes can show up around there. So let's go back to the start. Yeah, so we're not quite there. We're not quite there with this. But let's get into that head base and let's make sure that this is happening a little bit more concordantly. Boink. So instead of that happening, what I want to do is motivate a that waith go. So let's just go ahead and grab these in that order.
Yeah. So Anda just made a really good comment here. With this type of transitions, I find that my need to keep keyframes minimal is keeping me from fully embracing the transition.
Oh,
Yeah, I feel that very much, and honestly, I feel like that's what I am currently battling with on my example. Um, it because I mean, you do want to try to dial in the timing, as you have it, and once you start making too many keyframes, like you can't really get into the curves and deal with the timing. Now you're dealing with 30 little keyframes, so it's a balance always, but I'd say I mean I think of it a little bit like the path points on a mask or something. Like keep it as few as you can until you need more, and then you just kind of have to deal with it.
yeah. Wait, did I just do that? Yeah, that's what I like from this. Yeah, and I think I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm I don't know, extra in a lot of the things that I do. That I end up overpopulating with keyframes all the time.
Yeah.
That like I have these overly dense sort of things which are hard to reconcile, we might say. So that's
I definitely aim for less, and I think a lot of it I tend to build very procedurally a lot of the time.
mm,
Um, and and so when you're working on something like this, a lot of times you do need to just get in there and do it. And you can't always be totally procedural about it.
now one thing I want to say is if we pre-composed this and then just started time remapping them, right? We can be as crazy zany as we want with our keyframes in here,
True.
knowing that we're just going to time remap the beats of it. Or if there are segments that we know can be sort of apportioned off a little bit, and then we kind of bump and move those. Like there's a lot of kind of segmentation stuff that we can be doing out here with these. Okay, where was I at with these weirdos? Chapoink. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to grab these and I'm going to time reverse them, I think. So we're just kind of animation, keyframe assistant, time reverse them, and let's see if I enjoy that. Keeping in mind that this, I mean, look, it's not in the most accurate position, but that's going to be fine, you know. Technically, we could.
Fine. If I say it's fine.
Yeah, yeah. No one's coming at me for this stuff.
I didn't say it's fine. So.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. It's only fine if Kyle says it's fine. That's the important part. So let's say it begins like here. Choink. There we go. So that's going to be part of our kickoff of the whole thing. And again, is this particularly efficient? I don't know. Boing. There we are. Feeling it. This is good. And now, obviously, I still got to get the hands going, but let's go ahead and nip over to Kyle's screen real quick while he continues what he's on. And
Yeah, so I've been working on getting these, still just kind of dialing this in. It's not quite doing what I want, and I'm kind of decided to take a little break from that to figure out what to do with this base that I kind of have just ignored and
right.
let be there. And there's a part of me that thinks maybe that might be too many things because I don't really have a motivation for these drips yet.
What is my motivation?
Well, I mean, I could just have them come down out of the scoops, but
Right.
I feel like if I have I'm wondering if maybe I could turn this base into one more shape that kind of like does a and then splats into the top, and that causes the drips.
Right.
That could maybe be a thing. In which case, I need to turn this base one into a new shape because I've already parented some things to it, and so I don't want to keep that going. So let's, oh boy. And this is also just a path, so that's going to be a thing. Let me just quickly rebuild that with a little rectangle friend, and so I can manipulate that a little more easily. Okay, there we go. And again, this is just kind of an idea that I'm trying out. It may or may not work. So let's see if I have that turn into a little square, and then we'll open up some rotation as well. So what's happening is this is all going to snap down, and then let me see if I can kind of shoot this shape up way up into the sky here, and I wonder if that will make any sense at all, or it may just be terrible. So I'm going to kind of create a rough version of it here and just see if it feels like it could even possibly work with what I'm thinking. Bring it down into the ice cream. That needs to happen quite a bit later. So this is going to need so much hang time that I don't know if that's going to work or not.
Right.
Yeah. So way out. The issue that I'm running into is that I've got a lot of stuff snapping down and then kind of battling for it all needs to shoot back up at similar speeds, but then I have a lot of hang time going on, and I kind of want to offset them so it's a little more interesting. But
right.
I feel like it's getting a little messy in here, but I think that this can kind of work with the concept that I was going with here. Gonna need more rotation than that. So how about I bring that over here? Let's call that like a whole 1.5 rotations and see if that sort of, yeah, that's kind of like creating more energy for the drippies there.
More energy for the drippies.
Yeah. It may all be a little like there's way too much going on in the middle there. So now that I kind of have that idea, I might bring these scoops back down a bit.
Okay.
So that it's not quite so messy in there. Bring that one down, and let's see if that helps.
And in response to Umacorn, yes, Kyle is using the latest of Overlord plugins by the excellent people at BattleAxe who make fine plugins. The fine plugin makers at BattleAxe.
Just released yesterday, and I would say here's a quick peek at it. Here we go. The interface is very similar, but has a few new things, and then there's a couple other bits in here, maybe in After Effects. I have an issue sometimes where my extensions kind of load themselves empty. So let me not exclusive to Overlord. Here we go. So there is some more stuff in here. There's some nice like pre-comp and pre-compose built into it, and some other functions. And if you long click on here, I mean, basically everything that it did before, but it handles more stuff. And they have a roadmap for getting a few straggler features from Illustrator, but also to integrate this with Figma and Photoshop as well in the future. So felt like very much worth the upgrade in my opinion. Yeah. And if you've never gotten on board with Overlord, you should check it out. It's well worth it.
Get on board with Overlord. Well, Kyle.
I'll take my money now, Adam.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Jake, you can use that one.
Yep.
Okay. So, I think I'm about
Where are
done
you
with
at?
mine.
Okay.
So I'm gonna cut over my screen.
Yeah.
I'll show people what sins I have wrought upon the world here, and then we'll meet and discuss
Okay.
this. So there we go. I'll just put that there, and let's get closer to the start of this, and I'll start there, and I'll just run it like this. So here we go. Here's clock to dog, clocko to doggo, click click, whip, ding, arf, arf.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so that's kind of the idea that I could have done more with the little ticks ticking away, like those could have all scale blooped themselves out.
I
But
think that works fine.
yeah, and I'm really proud of the kind of rigged doggy part. That is a bit of business where you're really just setting out a bunch of nulls. This is something that I think like Duick, Basil, whatever the current version is. It's not that anymore. There's a newer one.
Yeah, there is.
But I think that's a type of logic that you can set up. I just do it manually, and I tend to call it like the conical shift, because you're just having layers that are more front and center, moving less than a target that this thing is kind of it's a look at maneuver is what you're doing. But yeah, that's kind of the deal with this doggo. So I think that the only other things that I would probably kind of add to it is having like a tongue stick out. That kind, yeah, and having like a little tongue stick out or whatever just to punctuate.
Yeah.
Or if this was say like a logo or an icon, the dog might wink or something to say like it's done. Wink. Yeah.
Well,
something
as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I think we might be revisiting a similar design at some point in the future here, and we can do a little walk cycle or something. And there's absolutely a tongue involved.
Right. Perfect. And yeah, so my methodology was to start at the end and work our way back. So between the two known points, I'm starting at the end and work my way back. If we were to analyze this with the methodologies that we talked about last time on this fabulous program, then what I'm leveraging a bit of common geometry here, the geom of this. So the nose, the head, the eyes, common geometry between these two, right? By which we mean this component simply becomes this component. It switches, but let's punctuate or salivate. Yeah, one of the two. And of course, the hands are common to a variant of the mouth that we can flow from one to the other. So we are searching for those things. Despite having parallax, this is not particularly a Texas turn type idea. That was a bit of an afterthought to make it feel three-dimensional. If I wanted to Texas turn it, then we would be, of course, flipping this over and whoa, there's a dog face on the other side. That's crazy. We're not doing any scene in a scene business with this, and we are doing some like quick outs, but there isn't really that like match cut type of vibe that we had going on. So this is really what we would call a common geometry type of move in here, hidden at the apex of different things. But there are some swaps going on, right? Like the new eyes come out of the old marks, that they are simply swapping at a point that is most convenient to hide it, which is either maximum velocity or minimum velocity, i.e. 0 velocity. That's a good time to make a change. And the hands hand to mouth swap does happen at its maximum velocity. So I guess we've worked in 2 out of the 4 things that we talked about last time. Yeah, I think that's what I got. Kyle, what did you do today?
Yeah, I mean, I think I very much went common geometry too. I still have a couple straggler bits that I haven't quite dealt with here, and my drips feel a little fast, but that's easy enough to add some time on here. Scoot this over, got to stretch some stuff out. Got a pretty short little comp going on. So you can see my tree trunks still need to be dealt with. I kind of just now was roughing in these drips. And ultimately I have sort of some mixed feelings about getting this square thing happening up there. I sort of like the energy that I get from the spin on it.
Mm,
Um, but I don't know. I mean, it's introducing this other shape that isn't really otherwise in there. So, you know, not great.
hmm.
Um, I like I like what's happening where it's becoming the drips.
Right.
Um, I could try something here. I do like that spin. So what if, as it gets up here, I can just round that off a whole bunch, and so it becomes like it's one more scoop.
Hmm.
And let's see if that kind of helps, because that spin was a little flickery up there.
Okay.
So let's see what that does for me. Like yeah, I need to kind of like work it in there. Although then I'm just getting like an extra bit that we don't fully see. I don't know. I don't know. I like yours better than mine.
Well, Kyle, it doesn't matter what we like; it's what the audience likes. So, I mean, we'll one day take a poll of people when we're doing this format for real, for real. Today's more of a test for us to kind of figure out how this would work as a show. Um,
Uh,
and I think, no, Kyle, you're getting stuck in a detail hole. Pull yourself out.
oh yeah, I mean that's kind of the point with this stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
that's why you watched me, start out and focus on the big things. Um, Ultimately, like I could just make these tree trunks kind of disappear. That's not the end of the world. So let me. Oh, but I've got stuff like parented to them. So I'll finish this off real quick. I know we're kind of trying to wrap this up here. So let's take these two tree trunks, and I'm just going to be kind of cheap about this, and just got to do one at a time here. I'll just move the anchor point down here, and let's select this one. Oops. Select this one, move this anchor point down here, and I will just scale these down into the base as that moves down, just to kind of deal with that. I don't think it's the most elegant of solutions, but it is the one that is going to happen today. So these can just scale down to nothing there. Oops, vertically. And then to help deal with that issue, I'll just bring these tree bits all the way down. Oh, they were covering that up anyway. I just need to align my timing because I gave these just a tiny little offset. So let's see. Perfect. Okay. Let's take a look at this. I think there's some bits that I'm not super happy with, but it kind of almost gets the job done. Need to trim these off. Both right there. Let's take that back one more frame. Yeah, I don't love what is going on with that base. Like it doesn't feel like the best solution.
It might be that when the thing goes down, you want the base to flare, and then when it comes back up, it gets tight.
Yeah. Agree. It needs a little bit more. Like it needs something to give it that energy there.
Yeah.
I mean, it may just keep working on it. I will.
No, we're gonna call it here because I have to hit the road.
Okay. Yeah.
But good people of the chat, we must speak to you now. We want to keep doing this kind of wacky thing. So what we need from you are a bunch of, I want to say, nouns. I guess we could do verbs too, but I don't think verbs, like specifically nouns that are objects, like object nouns, like dog, house, clock, like those types of things. They translate really nicely into images.
And I do see some good suggestions here. Some that are maybe a little less like bouncy, happy, fun. Although if we're going to continue with this series, I do think they'd kind of need to stay in that vein.
Yeah. But yeah, we could be doing like dog into cat. Well, that's not so much. But the idea is Kyle and I are going to trade these things back and forth so that in a line, it's like Evan, Kyle, Evan, Kyle, Evan, Kyle, Evan, Kyle, like that. Like that's the hope that we can logistically work that out. And if you guys can send us some ideas, we'll draw them, send them to each other, and we'll continue on the madness. And ideally, you know, we want to be able to like put your name down next to them. So if we do a super cut with this, we can kind of tag it with who suggested what, and we can kind of share that stuff out when we, I don't know, drop this whenever. But it's a fun little project to do. I think we explore a lot of interesting ideas with this, and hopefully people find it illuminating, or at least liberating to see that, yes, Evan and Kyle also struggle with that. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you let us know how watchable this is, but you know, if seeing us actually work through stuff in real time is interesting, and you know, obviously it's somewhat real world, not entirely, because we are trying to do it very quickly and all that, but you know, let us know if this is interesting or terrible.
Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, should we be copying and pasting the things people are putting?
Oh yeah, because they're gonna disappear from the hands.
Yeah.
I'll do some screen grabs.
Okay. And yeah, so that's kind of the idea. Like I really enjoy this type of thing. I think it gets to a lot of like the creative stuff. I think in the future we'll try to just each work on it, and I'll smash the buttons so we go between each of our screens as punctuation requires. I guess. That might be the format. So that's the watermelon boba phone. Oh, I mean, I can already envision how that goes. Watermelon's got seeds. Boba's got glorbs.
Well, and I guess let's say this, folks, if you are a designer yourself and you want to create a series of 2 or 3 things and watch us animate them, that could certainly be a show.
Oh yeah, we like this. Like this is something where like Kyle can do A to B, I'll do B to C, and then ba-boom, then we got something for you. And then we'll leave it to you to go C to A to create the loop. That's we can't do all the things. But get the full cycle going in there. I would love to do that. I think that's a lot of fun. But I must go have a different kind of fun. I got an improv show tonight, so I got to get on the road and hang out with my fellow teammates and get our brains sillier than it was now, if you can imagine that. Yeah. Oh yeah, and if you live in Ottawa, come on down. None of you live in Ottawa. It's fine.
Somebody might.
That's true. I was going to plug, come on down to the Arts Courts, doors at 7, shows at 7:30. Make sure you go to Improv Embassy and sign up to make sure you have tickets or whatever. I don't think it's usually a full house, so although it's the last show of the kind of calendar year, so it might be bigger than usual. All right, folks. That's it. We're going to go to the 2-shot here. Kyle, thanks as always for being with me. This was a lot of fun. This was a blast today. So, and
I enjoyed it, even though I feel like your example came out a lot better than mine.
Man, let's not measure ourselves qualitatively here. I think, I don't know, like I feel a lot of frustration looking at mine too, because I see all the avenues that I didn't go, right?
Yeah.
Like that's,
yeah.
I think we're each going to be unimpressed with our own thing.
Well, and when you're trying to do this in 20 to 30 minutes, you have to pick one direction and just commit to it. You don't get to do what you do in the real world, which is kind of maybe try a few different approaches and see what actually makes sense.
Well, and we probably would have thrown out a lot more in sketch, right? Before any of this gets into production. Like we're skipping about 3 phases before we get into
Yeah.
We're doing first idea, best idea. That's something that is rarely true. I like first idea, worst idea as an axiom. Anyway, okay. Thank you all for being with us. Find us on the internet at EC Abrams, at Kylosaurus Rex. You can download project files at motiondesignhotline.com, or a website for real people. We are back next week on Adobe Live, on the Adobe Live channels, 4 o'clock Eastern time, if that helps. Tuesdays, always Tuesdays. Anything else to say?
Keyframe the game.
That's right. We're back. The title is Keyframe the Game. We leave it to your imagination what that could be. So until then, stay creative, be kind to each other, and I'll see you all around the internet. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.
Ooh, and this is